Jalbert, driver of the 04 mainly asphalts Camaro. We're watching XCAL on Tella TV.
Esto es XCAL League, soy Octavio Rondoleto y me verás arriba del Tella 77.
Hi, this is Angelo Esposito, driver of the 33 machine, and you're watching XCAL Racing on Tella TV.
Hi, this is Kenny Tripp, driver of the main Mongol truck service Camaro. You're watching XCAL Racing on Tella TV.
Hey, ich heiße Rafael Sempro und bin der Fahrer des Wagens mit der Nummer 74 und ihr guckt XCAL Racing auf Tella TV.
This is Ryan Soper, driver of the number 84 RS racing car, and you're watching XCAL Racing on Tella TV.
Good afternoon, my friend, and welcome to Tella TV. My name is PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, as we get ready for heat race number 3 of 4 for the XCAL Racing XCAL Web Shop 275 here from Lakeland, Florida, the USA Speedway. You're watching Tella TV, and before we get anything kicked off here, I actually wanted to get a quick word in with one of the drivers who will be participating in this race today. So before he climbs into his car, we're out here trackside with Tyler Jalbert. And Tyler, so far, looks like you have that car sitting in third for qualifying with about a minute left as you're putting down the last few couple hot laps here. Is a question for you, though, heading into this race. What's the goal for you and the team? Obviously, all three of you are starting in the top 5. All three of you look like you're going to be starting on the inside line. What type of strategy do you guys have for this 50-lap affair?
We were just talking about this earlier. I think we're just going to run it the way she goes. Every time we try to have a strategy, it normally just bites us. Whether it's fall back to the rear, we get wrecked in the rear, go to the front, get wrecked up front. So I think I'm just going to go with the flow of this race, see how that goes.
All right, well, now for you personally, not so much on the team, but as for you, Tyler, the car's been looking quick all weekend long. I was watching you in practice a little bit yesterday. The car was putting down some of the fastest times in the session. So far in here, the car is looking quick as ever again. How do you feel about your own personal shots here as we head towards the big feature event tomorrow?
I'm feeling pretty good. A lot of my practice has been on the top side. That's how I like to set up my setups. You know, have a second groove, maybe even a third groove run, and see how that goes.
All right, 10-4. Well, that's the driver of the 04, Tyler Jalbert. Hopefully we'll be talking to you after the race. So that was Tyler Jalbert. As qualifying will wrap up, and we get ready to go racing here for 50 laps in the third out of 4 heat races for the XCAL Racing Web Shop 275. As the first heat race was won by Kyle Strychars. He was the first winner this evening, and of course his Dropping Bombs teammate, Tyler McRae, finished second. In the last heat race, we saw an old winner, Luke Turpin, win that heat race. In second place was Jordan Baddinger. The top 5 will transfer to the feature event in this heat race, so 5 transfer, and it looks like we have about 25 cars in the servers, so 5 transfer, 20 go home. Here's the starting grid for heat race number 3, starting on pole position. That is, position number 1 will be the number 12 of Kenny Tripp. In second, in the number 60 machine, will be Sean English. Don't forget, those two have had issues in the first 2 heat races tonight. Heat race number 1, English, put Tripp into the fence with 10 to go for the win. And in heat race number 2, Tripp just gave English the bumper and sent him up the racetrack into the fence. So those two, tempers have boiled over. They both have been called to the hauler in between races. They both agreed to calm things down. We'll see if they can stay true to the word here. Third position is the 04 of Tyler Jalbert, who we just spoke with a moment ago. In the 4th spot is the number 21 of William Karp. In 5th is the 53 of Tyler Batchelder. 6th is the 16 of Patrick Sullivan. 7th is the 32 of Trevor Birchmere. 8th is the 114 of James Seawright. 9th is the 45 of Travis Sukup. 10th is the number 7 of Jeff Edgar. 11th is the number 42 of Noah Carpenter. 12th is the 20 of Rich Hill. 13th is the number 17 of Heather Patrick. 14th is the number 2 of Ben Eaton. 15th is the 5 of Derek Colson. 16th is the number 71 of Andrew Baguz. 17th is the 1 of Aquinas LaBeouf. 18th is the 699 of Matthew Bear. 19th is the 37 of Art Hendren. 20th is the 062 of Johnny B. 21st is the number 24 of Jeremy Leto. 22nd is the number 76 of Michael Say. 23rd is the number 83 of Tim Skillman, and we're rounding out our field, and 24th will be the number 4 of Brad Galogly starting shotgun on the field. So we are going to have 24 cars fighting for 5 transfer spots as we get ready for Oh, it certainly will be a doozy. This heat race, a lot of big names still yet to transfer. You have all three of those mainly asphalt cars on the inside, Tripp, Jalbert, and Batchelder. Sean English was a guy we thought for sure would transfer in the first heat race. Obviously didn't go his way. Then you have the wild cards like William Karp. This is his first heat race. However, Karp is a guy that typically is fairly fast when he gets on the racetrack. James Seawright starting 8th. We know he's quicker than that. 11th place, Noah Carpenter. Carpenter's usually a front runner, kind of a deep start for him. Heather Patrick, a new drop and bombs car, starting 13th. You know Patrick will be running good. And 17th, kind of a big shocker for me, Quinus Buff starting all the way back in 17th. A typical top 10, top 5 runner in the XCAL Racing League. However, it just looks like he has not got the time in at USA, and that car is a little off the pace. So we will have to see what LaBeouf has for the boys, but up front, it will be Kenny Tripp and Sean English on the front row again. And, you know, it just seems like tonight these two cannot get away from each other. They've been starting near each other in every heat race they've ran. They've had issues in the first 2 heat races, as I mentioned earlier. And this is it right here. Can they keep it clean? Can they keep it off of each other? Tempers boil over once again. That's the big question left to be answered. I can say, as someone who was a part of the meetings talking to both those drivers, I do think they're both on a good general understanding of what they have been doing in the first 2 heat races has to stop, and I think they both do understand that if we have issues like that again here in this heat race, there probably will be punishments coming down for both of them, so really got to mind their P's and Q's here. They come down the back stretch. It is Tripp on the inside, showing the field to the green flag. Kenny Tripp, the first car today to run a 22.5. No one else had broken the 0.6 meter yet until Tripp didn't qualify with a 22.575. Tripp reads them through 3 and 4. It's going to be that iRacing Ford Mustang making the hard left-hand turn. Field now at the mercy of Kenny Tripp. Here they come. Green flag in the air. They're down and away, and Tripp gets the jump. He pulls up to first. It's going to be Jalbert going to the inside now of English. Jalbert races for that second spot, and Jalbert on the low side. He's going to get the nose ahead now of English, although Jalbert gets a little loose. English gets loose, and English almost comes down into him. Caution is out on the racetrack. An early wreck as we had a huge pile up in the back of the field. As I see a couple cars wrecked. I'm going to try to figure out where this started. I see the 21 of William Karp is wrecked, so we'll start there. He started in 4th. So obviously an issue with Karp, who started in 4th. Something happened there. We wait to get the replay up. 21, I just saw him mutilated on the backstretch. And here we go. The 21 was out of the groove coming off of 2-0. He just got all sorts of sideways on his own. Spun out right in front of the 32 of Birchmere. Nice job there by the 16 missing that of Patrick Sullivan. So the 32 of Birchmere got a pretty big piece of that. And then some cars wrecked to just trying to check up. The 699 of Matthew Bear. I see the 2 of Ben Eaton in that. 37 of Arthur Hendren. I also see the 71 who's had a tough night of Bagoo's in that. And yeah, it just looks like an unfortunate accident there. An early big one collecting some guys that we thought might be around come the end of this one. But tough break there. I'm going to see if any of these guys have their channels open, so maybe we can get a word in with them. It does look like maybe Ben Eaton will be able to get a word with. I'm going to try to bring him up here. And we try to dial up the radio now, and I think we might have a copy of Ben Eaton. It's PD up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Ben. Well, looks like you were unfortunately collected in that one. You were running pretty good up near the top 10, and then everyone just piled in. What happened from your perspective?
The 20 car got into the 7, spun them around, and I went to go high to go around them. The tires are still so cold. I got up there, and the thing just looped around on me.
Gotcha. Well, Ben, how's the car looking from inside of it? Is the wheel still straight? You think you're still going to have enough speed to compete for a transfer spot?
Oh, yeah, this thing's fine. I just got to get used to this setup. She's a little free.
All right. Well, Ben, thank you for the quick word, and best of luck moving forward, my friend.
Thank you.
That was Ben Eaton, driver for the number 2 cars. We'll put him back in with his team. And, yeah, tough break there for him as we have a caution on lap number 1 in heat race number 3. First time in any of these heat races that we actually had a caution that early. So with that being said, we're going to take a 30-second timeout for station identification. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Telesign TV. welcome back to Telesign TV as we get ready for a restart here with about, still most of the race to go. There's going to be about 44 laps to go when we go green after a lap 1 caution. The lights on the pace car do turn off and the field will double them up. And here's an updated top 10 running order after the first caution. First place, Kenny Tripp. Second, Sean English. Third, Tyler Jalbert. Fourth, Tyler Batchelder. Fifth, Patrick Sullivan. Sixth, James Seawright. Seventh, Travis Sukup. Eighth, Noah Carpenter. Ninth, Heather Patrick. And 10th, Derek Colson. Remember, top 5 transfer. Everyone else has to try again in heat number 4. Come down the backstretch in corner number 3. It is on the inside. Kenny Tripp, Sean English on that high side. They've minded their P's and Q's early on. Can they for the rest of this race? Here they come. Green flag in the air. They're down and away. And it's Tripp on the inside with a run from hell as he gets a big jump and he takes it to the top spot. Tyler Jalbert's going to follow him through to second. So Jalbert now rides right on the bumper of Tripp as, Jalbert gets loose. That causes English to get loose. And now they're all going to get caught up there. And car going around. It's Tyler Batchelder down the backstretch. No caution will fly as the 53 spins. And now they're going to pile into him. The 4, Brad Globally gets involved. The 2 of Ben Eaton. Again, it is just not Ben Eaton's night as they all get the car straightened out. Everyone's going to keep it going. Tough break there, especially for Batchelder, who was running up in the top 5. Just not very lucky there. Back up front, though, we have another wreck, a big pile up. This one's going to be a caution. I see Derek Colson flipping. And caution will fly once again, as I saw the 5 and 16 going around. And I believe that started with the 16 of Pat Sullivan. So a tough break there. Tough break for Pat Sullivan, who's actually running in 5th. We'll have to see what happens there when we get the replay up. But for Sullivan, he was running up in the top 5, and then just looks like things, I'm not sure what happened there. Something went wrong. So the replay's up, and let's see, the 16's going into turn 1. And he just lost it on his own in the middle of the corner. And let's see, a couple guys making nice moves to get around him, but then Colson had nowhere to go. Colson went flipping over him. The 7 of Jeff Edgar also got collected. And then, everyone started piling into Colson pretty much. The 83 of Timothy Skillman just overcorrected a little bit, got into the wall. The 76 got a piece of that. And, a few more cars collected in that one as we had a little bit of a pile up there. So a tough break in that one as early on. A couple early wrecks in this one as things have been aggressive early, to say the least. And with that, I'm going to take this opportunity to ring up another in-car reporter for us. I don't think I see anyone involved in the accident available. So we're going to pull in now Clinus LaBeouf, who's up to 9th after starting 17th. Let me tune him in real quick. Clinus, Speedy in the booth. You got a copy?
10-4.
Well, Clinus, a tough start for you. You qualified 17th. But I know we're very early in this race. We have 2 quick cautions, but you find yourself up to 9th now. So how are you feeling about the car, and how's it been handling so far in the short little stints you've got to feel?
I haven't had much to play around with the car, play around with different tuning options. Otherwise, it's felt pretty solid. I just have a little bit of driving to work on. The only thing that's kind of scaring me, I'm having to watch out for, is the fuel. We're just a tad bit short. I'm hearing from my crew chief, so definitely watching that a lot.
10-4. I think you'll probably need about another caution or 2 to make it. But anyways, Clinus, moving forward in this race, do you have any sort of plan to try to get yourself into one of them top 5 transfer spots, or are you just going with the flow right now?
Playing smart.
Right.
Smart's the key. Don't get involved in anything.
Well, thank you for joining me, Clinus, and hopefully we're talking to you after the race. Good luck, buddy.
Yep.
All right, that was Clinus LaBeouf, driver of the Big Block Motorsports #1 cars. He currently sits in 9th position as this heat race, slow start, as we're going to have a restart with about 38 laps to go. They get 2 to green that time by the flag stand. So, update on your top 10. First place, Kenny Tripp. Second, Sean English. Third, Tyler Jalbert. Fourth, Travis Sukup. Fifth, James Seawright. Sixth, Rich Hill. Seventh, Noah Carpenter. Eighth, Heather Patrick. Ninth, Clinus LaBeouf. And 10th is Johnny B, as 21 cars still run on the lead lap. 22 cars still out there on the racetrack. Cars that are out, Trevor Birchmere has pulled it behind the wall, and William Karp has also pulled it behind the wall. So as we get ready to get things back underway and going here, I haven't really had a chance to watch the racing unfold here. This is the complete opposite of the first 2 heat races. Heat 1 only had 2 cautions, one right at the beginning and one right at the end. And it's kind of the same thing with Heat 2. It had 3 cautions at, I think, 2 very early and 1 right at the end. We'll see if this heat race is going to be the redheaded stepchild maybe and have all the cautions tonight. Or maybe the boys will get it together here and we'll see some nice strings of green flag racing. Although this has been exceptionally dirty, I will say. There was even a couple little wrecks there that probably could have even qualified for a caution. It just has not been great going so far in this one. One lap to green as the leaders go down the backstretch for the final time. It is still the trip number 12 machine that'll be leading them to the green flag as they come down in corners number 3 and 4. It is Trip on the inside of the racetrack that has the right to give the start. The iRacing Ford Mustang makes that hard left-hand turn. Field at the mercy now of Kenny. They come through the corner. Green flag in the air. They're down and away. And this time English hangs tough on the outside. English is hanging right on his door. They go down into one. They race for the lead. English on the high side trying to get that run off the corner, but it's Trip down low getting the good run. This could get tight between these two. Remember, they've made their amends, but they've still had their issues, not just tonight, but in weeks past. Let's see what happens. They race awfully close for first and second as Jalbert gets loose. Jalbert gets loose, and he gets forced out of the groove. That allows the number 114 of James Seawright to make a move for third. They still race for the lead, however, and it's going to be the number 60 of English diving it down low. Now he gives a little bit of a bump to Trip. Trip gets loose, and Trip's going to hang on to it as he throws the block now on English. English to the inside. Oh! English gets into Trip! And Trip is going to save it, but it's going to be English in the lead. Trip almost went around there, and as now the Seawright machine gets around Trip. Here comes Tyler Jalbert, and you know the 12 of Penny Trip cannot be happy about that whatsoever. So Trip now will have to set his sights back on catching up to Sean English there. Here comes Kenny Trip to the inside of second for James Seawright. Trip down to the low side. He makes the pass and moves Trip back up into the second spot now. So Seawright gives way to Trip in the 12. Although Seawright gets a good run off the corner, we'll see if he dives it back down low, if he just lets Trip have it. Trip is just going to take the position. It's Trip's spot to lose right now. Update on these other transfer spots. Third, Seawright. Fourth is going to be Tyler Jalbert. Now up to fifth is Noah Carpenter. And the first car out in sixth is Clinus Buff, who we talked to during that caution. So transfer spots changing by the second here as Noah Carpenter finds himself in one of those spots now. Nice run by the 42 so far. Have to keep an eye on Kenny Trip though. Can that 12 car reel back in the 60? Because I can tell you what, he is not going to be happy whatsoever with the 60 of Sean English. That was that was a little bit of both of them right there. Kenny was definitely throwing the block, and Sean was just trying to stick his nose where it didn't need to be. But the incidents that those two have had tonight, you got to be better than that. You know, you can't just be doing those things, especially when you both have already been pulled into the hauler once this evening. I can promise you the more times you have to get pulled into a hauler throughout the course of a race, the less happy race control gets about talking to you, and they already weren't happy to talk to you to begin with. So we'll have to see, but I will tell you, Trip is starting to reel in our leaders. Our leader has issues with the lap car of Ben Eaton. Got to remember, Eaton is affiliated with Kenny Trip, so maybe Eaton was trying to slow him up a little bit there for Kenny, as I'm sure Kenny would love nothing more than get right back to the bumper of that 60. I'd be curious to see what he does there after a miraculous save, too, by Kenny Trip after that incident, might I add. As here we go, Noah Carpenter gets into Tyler Jalbert, and Jalbert's going to spin around right in the groove. That likely will be a caution, and caution will fly as Tyler Jalbert goes around. That'll bring out the yellow. So yellow out for the third time this evening. Let's see if anything happens up here with the 60 and the 12. As now they're going to be right next to each other under caution. Yeah, Kenny did give him a little bump right away. He got right up in his bumper and gave him a little tap. Maybe they'll play nice now, though. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. And as the caution flies, we'll get the replay up for you in a moment on what happened there between the 42 and the 04. As that incident went down in turns 3 and 4. So as we wait on that, that was just a single car accident. What that does do, too, with Jalbert going around is that does move the one car of Clinus LaBeouf into a transfer spot. I'm not sure how race control is going to see that. As the replay's up, you see it looks like Jalbert kind of did come across the nose of the 42, but the 42 might have drove it in deeper than they should have. To me, that does kind of look like a racing deal. So I'm not sure how race control is going to call that. It's going to be one of them tough ones to call. I think that might just be a racing deal, though. So caution is out. And actually, I do want to get a quick word in with Kenny Trip after what we just saw there between him and Sean English. I'd be very curious to hear Mr. Tripp's perspective of that. So we're going to try to tune into the radio of Kenny Trip now after that incident there and tune in. All right, Kenny Trip, it's PD up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
All right, 10-4. So Kenny Tripp, we pulled you up here into the broadcast booth, and obviously you and the 60 car have had a hard time staying away from each other tonight. And heat race number 3, no difference. Heading down into turn number 3 on about lap 15, you guys made some contact that sent you up the speedway. Tell me what happened from your perspective there, Kenny.
Well, honestly, I thought coming out of the corner he gave me a hell of a shot and got me sideways, and I was squiggly down the straightaway, and I thought he'd let me gather it up, but apparently not. So I told Holler during last qualifying that I'll be a good boy, but I just don't get it.
10-4, Kenny. Certainly a frustrating situation for you. Well, moving forward in this heat race, you're going to be restarting second with about half the heat race to go. What's the plan here? You're going to try to make the move on the outside, or has the inside just been the key here tonight?
I'll have about a lap and a half to try something, and then other than that, I'll fall behind. I don't want him to get away too far. And then we'll ride for a little while and see if we can make some sparks stand.
All right, well, 10-4, Kenny, best of luck to you. Hopefully we're talking to you at the end of the race in Victory Lane. Good luck, my friend. All right, that was Kenny Tripp, driver of the number 12, mainly asphalt machine, as he gave us his perspective of what happened there in his race for the lead with Sean English. So they have 2 laps to green. So I'll give you an updated running order here. Running in first place right now is going to be, and also Noah Carpenter was penalized for that last caution, so Carpenter was sent to the end of the line. But here is the running order. First is Sean English, second is Kenny Tripp, third is James Seawright, fourth is Clinus LaBeouf, fifth is Andrew Baguse, sixth is Rich Hill, seventh Tyler Batchelder, 8th is Michael Say, 9th is Patrick Sullivan, and 10th is Timothy Skillman. Still 17 cars run on the lead lap as we get ready to go green here. And remember, Kenny Tripp did not sound happy in that interview whatsoever when we just talked to him. So don't be surprised if things get frisky here between the 12 and the 60 as they head down into corner number 1. As Tripp will be on the outside, it'll be English leading the field to green. Worth noting, too, that the 60 has his teammate right on his bumper, so maybe if they can play this right, they could clear the 12 of Tripp. Here they come into the corner, and green flag in the air. They're down and away. It's going to be English pulling the gap. English has the top spot, so English moves up to the lead, and now Tripp's just going to try to slide in the line, but LaBeouf shoves him up the racetrack. LaBeouf gets him out of the groove, and now Tripp will slide in the line, though LaBeouf will just slide in behind him. And now Tripp will have to set his sights on James Seawright in the 40 car. The best battle right now is the battle for about 6th. It's Tyler Batchelder as he gets around the 20 machine. We're going to hang on to that for a moment. As Clinus LaBeouf right now is driving all over the bumper of Kenny Tripp. First time we've seen LaBeouf up front today. Halfway down, halfway to go, the flagman Aaron Keith says as they come by the flag stand that time by. And it's going to be Kenny Tripp getting loose off the corner now. He goes down low, allows the one of LaBeouf to go to the high side. LaBeouf drives it to the high side now, seeing if he can make a move up there. There's nothing really doing up there, and now LaBeouf will slide back into the line. The car in 5th right now, Andrew Baguse is under heavy artillery attack from 53. That 53 is driving right up behind him. Batchelder wants to find his way back into a transfer spot. And Batchelder gets loose off the corner. That opens up the door for Rich Hill. Hill now trying to make a move for 6th as they both run right behind the transfer spot of 5th. Hill drives it deep into the corner, and it's going to be Hill taking the position momentarily. Hill has the spot off the corner as they go around the lap car of Sal. So it's going to be Hill now up to 6th as he will set his sights up on 5th for the last transfer spot. Baguse just trying to hang on to it right now. It's going to be a long 20 laps, though. Those 2 quick cats behind him. And not too far back either behind them is Tyler Jalbert. Tyler Jalbert back up to 9th after restarting 17th. He has made his way right up to the bumper now of Heather Patrick. We'll see what he has under the tank for him. If he can make this move on Patrick and really make his way back up in the top 5, or is it just a little too late for the 04 of Jalbert? As Jalbert runs right on their bumper. Oh, the 53 of Batchelder gets into the wall. All around the speedway. Not a lot of great battles going on. Kenny Tripp still trying to catch back up to the 14 of Seawright for second. That Tripp machine looks a little bothered right now, though. I wonder if he scuffed his tires up when Sean English got into him. And we will have to make note of that, too, and maybe ask Kenny if he felt like his tires were a little off after that. Battle for the transfer spot is on, though. Baguse playing good defense, but Rich Hill all over his bumper. Hill in that number 20 car trying to make the move for the 5th final transfer spot. As Hill gets loose, he goes up the speedway. Batchelder rolls off the gas and lets him correct it. That could have been ugly there as Jalbert now has made his way up to the 8th spot. So Tyler Jalbert now sets the sights on these 3 cars. Tyler Jalbert really might not be eliminated from the transfer spot yet. He might be able to race his way in still. Jalbert now trying to catch up to these guys. He's one of those guys, too, that's not locked into this race based on points. He is purely needs to make this show on his qualifying efforts, so he needs to get back up into that top 5. As we have a car in the grass down the front stretch, that was the 20 of Rich Hill. Some sort of issue there with Hill. Don't know what happened, but Hill now is mired back to 7th. And now here we go, the battle for the transfer spots. Tyler Batchelder all over Bagooz for that spot. Batchelder looks to the inside. Bagooz gives nothing there. Bagooz trying to hang on to it. Now off the corner, it's going to be Batchelder with a good run. I think something happened there with Bagooz and Hill, though, because I hear that Hill is not too happy right now, and I know he was racing hard with Bagooz. As now Batchelder gives Bagooz a little bump. He does not have time to waste as Rich Hill catches up to the both of them very quickly. By the way, the battle for second, it wasn't much of a battle. James Seawright just kind of gave way to Kenny Tripp, so Tripp is now back up to second, about a second behind our leader of Sean English. That transfer spot battle is hot heated as it could be right now, as we have 4 cars all under a blanket right now. As Tyler Batchelder drives on the apron, he gets underneath Bagooz. Batchelder now races for 5th. They touch doors. Hill's going to give Batchelder the push. Hill might make it 3 wide. He will not. Batchelder now moves up to 5th as Bagooz is in the outside. Bagooz got to be careful. He might lose a handful of spots here and take himself out of the transfer spot. Well, I mean, he's already out of it, but he might take himself out of contention. Now here comes Hill to the inside of Bagooz, and now that's going to move Hill up to 6th. Jailbert's trying to follow Hill, and Jailbert's also going to get by Bagooz and move Jailbert up to 7th. This battle for the transfer spot, far from over, I promise you. That was, oh, Jailbert gets into the 20 of Hill. Hill's going to save it, but that moves Jailbert to the inside of Hill. Bagooz is now going to have another shot at Hill. Bagooz thinks about making it 3 wide. This is not the move, Bagooz, I promise you that. Bagooz will let off the gas. Jailbert now will slide into 6th, and Bagooz will make the move on Hill, and that's what Jailbert wanted to see. Jailbert can now just focus on catching his teammate, Tyler Batchelder. So Jailbert's up to 6th. Hill is now 7th. Bagooz going to fall back to 8th. And Heather Patrick, worth noting too, kind of caught all these guys while they were racing hard. Patrick now right on the bumper of Bagooz for 8th. Jailbert, though, he needs to pick up one more spot if he wants to transfer, and unfortunately it's the guy running the same setup as him, the 53 of Tyler Batchelder, so he has a long way to go and a short time to get there, as there's just about 13 laps left in this one. About a second in front of these guys runs Clinus LaBeouf, and LaBeouf actually a little bit off their pace right now. LaBeouf running about 0.2 laps slower than the guys behind him right now, and LaBeouf, he's getting caught quickly. If he's not careful, he might lose one of these transfer spots. So LaBeouf, as this run goes on, his car gets slower, and the 53 is just getting quicker. So here comes Batchelder. He is caught all the way up to Clinus LaBeouf, and he is going to try to make work of LaBeouf. They come off the corner. They continue to inch closer and closer to that one machine. LaBeouf, he is just not running that quick right now. He needs a caution. Desperately does the one machine of LaBeouf. So LaBeouf continues to drive around the speedway, and it's going to be Batchelder all over his bumper now. This time by the flag stand, the starter Aaron Keith holds 10 fingers in the air, 10 laps to go for Sean English. And English knows he just has 10 more laps to negotiate, and he'll be starting in the top 4 with Luke Turpin and Kyle Streichhardt. Here comes Batchelder. Batchelder looks down low on LaBeouf. No move there yet. LaBeouf throws the block. LaBeouf's going to hang on to the position for the time being. However, that LaBeouf machine is just so slow off the corner right now. It is not great right now for the one machine, although as he continues to hold up the 53 and 04, that's allowing Rich Hill to get back in the battle. And here comes Tyler Jailbert. Jailbert to the inside of his teammate Batchelder for the 5th and final transfer spot. Jailbert trying to make a move happen here, and Jailbert will prevail. Move Jailbert up to the 5th spot now, and now he has to get by LaBeouf. I mean, you know that they want to get both those cars into the show. They are not trying to have one transfer and one not. As now Jailbert gives LaBeouf a bump, a nudge, moves LaBeouf up the speedway. Here comes Jailbert to the inside. Tyler Jailbert races the inside, 8 laps to go, that time by at the stripe. LaBeouf's going to pinch Jailbert down the speedway. He's just trying to hang on to whatever he can. Off the corner, it's going to be Jailbert's spot. Can Batchelder get underneath LaBeouf? I think LaBeouf has him cleared. LaBeouf does have the position. LaBeouf throws the block as Batchelder gives him a shove. Batchelder goes up the racetrack. They all go up the racetrack. Here comes Hill. They are 3 wide off the corner. It's LaBeouf on the high side, Hill down low, and Batchelder in the middle. 7 laps to go that time by the flag stand. And now LaBeouf gets moved out of the group. He's just going to have to regroup and hope he can carry back on. Hill's now at the 5th into the final transfer spot. Let's see if Batchelder can respond. Does LaBeouf have anything left in the tank? They race off into the corner, and now here comes LaBeouf down to the inside of Batchelder. LaBeouf knows he doesn't have a ton of time left to go, as the 20 wiggles up the speedway. They're 3 wide once again. The 04 slowing down in front of them. Here comes LaBeouf to the inside. LaBeouf gets into the 20. They both go up the speedway, and they're going to hang on to it, but that pretty much gives the transfer spot to Clinus LaBeouf as Hill and Batchelder make contact. So now Aquinas LaBeouf runs in 5th. He goes to the inside of the 04 of Tyler Jalbert. Not sure what the issue is here for Jalbert, but that Jalbert 04 is not running that quick right now. So you have LaBeouf now running to the inside of Jalbert. He is just trying to hang on for dear life. And now LaBeouf gets a little tight up the speedway. Oh, Jalbert gives him a shove. Jalbert gets him all sorts of loose out of shape. And now LaBeouf's just going to have to regroup and get things back going, as that's going to allow Hill to catch back up to both of them. Hill is certainly not out of the running for this transfer spot yet. LaBeouf now goes down to the low side of the 04 of Tyler Jalbert. They race down the front stretch. 4 laps to go this time by. This is for the final transfer spot, the best battle on the racetrack. As up top, it's still going to be the Jalbert 04 holding on, but it is that 20 of Rich Hill starting to cause some issues for both of them. As the inside lane cannot prevail yet, LaBeouf just cannot find a way around that 04 of Jalbert. The 20 of Hill goes on the apron trying to find some speed. He knows he has just 3 laps to go this time by the flag stand to try to work his way into that transfer spot. LaBeouf now on the low side. He will drive to the inside of Jalbert. He slides up the racetrack. Hill is going to give him the benefit of the doubt that time, but with 3 laps to go, you got to wonder just how much longer is Hill going to bide his time. When does he start to get aggressive? Here comes aggressive. He gets to the low side. He makes it 3 wide on them both, and LaBeouf's going to heat way, but he will not have the room. The 20 car has to let out of the gas. Popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps to go this time by. Hill drives it deep in the corner. He gives LaBeouf a shove, a nudge. LaBeouf goes up the speedway. It's going to be the 20 of Hill working to the inside. This is for the final transfer spot. LaBeouf on the high side, Hill down low. Here they come to 3 and 4. It's Hill on the inside with a good run around the corner, and it's going to be the white flag in the air. Aaron Keith shows just 1 more lap to go, as it's anyone's spot for 5th. Here they come down into corner number 1. LaBeouf drives it deep into the corner. He gets a little bit tight on exit, and that 1 car gets all sorts of loose, and that 1 car is almost out of gas heading down the backstretch. That 1 car is out of gas heading down the backstretch. Aquinas LaBeouf runs out of fuel on the last lap of the race. Sean English takes the checkered flag. He wins heat race number 4. Second's going to be James Seawright. Third is going to end up being Tyler Jalbert. 4th is going to be Rich Hill, and 5th is Heather Patrick, as Kenny Tripp also ran out of gas on the last lap. So both LaBeouf and Tripp run out of gas on the last lap, and that makes it English, Seawright, Jalbert, Hill, and Patrick transferring to the main event. So we are going to catch word here with our race winner Sean English really quickly, and we're down here on the front stretch in victory lane with Sean English, and Sean, it's been a tough going this evening for you, but you finally picked up the heat race win in heat number 3. You'll be starting in the top 4 tomorrow. Before we talk about anything else, though, take us through that incident on lap 15 with you and Kenny Tripp. You guys made some contact heading to turn 3. The Tripp 12 spun up the racetrack, was able to hold on to it. What happened from your perspective there, Sean?
It looks like he just got a little bit loose at a 2. I tried to duck it low, and he's been every single one of these heat races. Every time I duck it low on him, he just blocks me, and that time my spotter said car high, so I didn't lift for him. I lifted for the corner, but that was just kind of it. I got into him. It was just a racing deal on my part.
All right, 10-4 there, Sean. And so now I'm looking forward to the feature tomorrow. You're going to be starting up front in the top 4. Your teammate James Seawright will be starting in the top 8. All 3 of your cars transferred in this heat race. Got to be good for you. But how do you feel about your chances in the feature tomorrow? Obviously, we've had some quick cars tonight, like Turpin and Tripp and Octavio Rondoletto. We've had a lot of quick guys here tonight. But how do you feel about your 60s team's chances tomorrow?
I mean, I think all of us have a little bit of speed. We still got a little bit of fine-tuning to do. I'm just happy that all 3 of us made it into the race, this heat race. Really sucks for Kenny Tripp, though. He ran out of fuel on that last lap, and he didn't end up making it. But best of luck for him in heat 5 or 4.
All right, Sean. Well, congratulations to you. Before I let you go celebrate with your team, is there any sponsors, crew, and teammates you'd like to thank?
Pretty much just everybody at Precision Speed Lab. All of us. I know personally I've made over 700 laps this week. Just all of us putting in the time and effort got us here in victory lane today.
All right, well, that was your race winner for heat number 3, Sean English, and hopefully we get to talk to him tomorrow for the feature event. That'll wrap up things for heat race number 3, though. For the XCAL Racing Web Shop 275. Don't forget to check out the XCAL Racing Web Shop for all your cool little trinkets and needs. My name's PDJ Zettler, the voice of XCAL Racing. This broadcast has been brought to you by Telesign TV. Thank you to Tanner Kalin and all the guys over there who do a fantastic job. On behalf of Aaron Hilbush and everyone at XCAL Racing, take it easy. We'll be back in an hour with heat race number 4.